If you're struggling to create a workout plan that truly works for you, whether you're a beginner or not, this guide is for you. Today we'll explore how to design a personalized and sustainable workout plan that fits your goals, lifestyles, and fitness level in order to avoid burnout and to reach, of course, great results, avoiding even some injuries. Okay, let's dive right into the key points in order to create the perfect workout plan. I put into the map of contents, so we will talk slowly about those. Okay, foundations of a great workout plan. So, there are so many great plans. Which one is the best then? Well, there is not the best one because all the plans can be good, but the point is that it needs to align with your goals and your levels. So personalization is the key. In fact, it's important to see how much time do you have in order to work out, your fitness level, and the lifestyle. The key question that you need to ask are how much time can you commit weekly? And what is your current fitness level? What are your primary fitness goals? You want to lose weight, to gain muscle, to build strength, for example. So this is the point. There is no an ideal workout plan, and all the workout plans can be good, to be honest, but depends your goals. And the most important thing is to avoid common pitfalls. So we need to start with realistic expectations in order to build consistency with the time, because if you want to lose 60 kgs in 3 months, this is unrealistic and will just lead to burnout. So let's start slowly but more consistent on the long term. So the first step would be to set realistic goals. So define your goals. Is your goal to build strength? Though in that case, let's do heavy weights with lower reps. Of course, this depends, because if you are a complete beginner, you can start even with moderate reps and progressive overload, because you will build strength along the way anyway. But for an intermediate person, to build more strength, you need to go to lower reps. I put something later, but we'll talk later. If you want to build muscle, moderate reps are basically the key. 8 to 12 reps is ideal, for example, but the most important part is the progressive overload. Fat loss. Okay, I wanted to put higher reps because this is the most common bullshit that you can find around. But this is very common, so I wanted to insert in this map of content. So higher reps, they are not related to weight loss in any way. I mean, you can use lighter weight in that case, so you risk less injuries probably, because you're stressing the body and everything, but this will not lead to a higher fat loss. But cardio or high intensity interval training instead can help a lot. If you are in a extreme fat loss diet, high intensity interval training is not ideal, to be honest, but instead less cardio is better. Then you can even combine these goals. So ideally you want to focus on one each time in order to have optimal results. But if you are a complete beginner, you want to build muscle and at the same time strength, you will do that. And even if you are a complete beginner, you can lose fat and build strength and muscle. I know that sounds strange, but this is like a secret weapon for beginners, but this is just an extreme case and works just at the beginning, or if you're coming back after a long time of stop. Then regularly reassess and adjust your goals, because basically every time we want to adjust our goals to our current situation. So what we'll do is we start with a specific goal, but then slowly, in the meantime that we change our body, basically we shape our body, we will reassess our goals, our workout plan, in order to have like a progressive improvement of our body or our condition. Structuring the workout week. Okay, so beginner-friendly schedule is the classic one where we do 3 days of compound exercises, for example. Even a full body would be good. Then we'll talk about this later. 2 days of cardio if you need to lose weight will be good. Even if you don't need to lose weight, anyway, the cardio is helpful for the cardiovascular system, so is highly suggested. But you can just do eventually active recovery days. So what I would suggest is to do, if you're just starting out, 3 days of compound exercises, full body. This should be good already. Some cardio, focusing on the nutrition, of course, and 2 days of active recovery. In the meantime that you go towards an intermediate level, then become more complicated because your body cannot improve in the same way. So what you will do is mainly focusing on 4 day split. The most common one is the upper lower upper body. Sorry, upper lower. I'm sick, so I'm confused as well. By the way, upper lower, where you alternate basically one day, for example, Monday, just the upper body, and Tuesday, the lower body. Then Wednesday, you can rest, for example. Thursday, you do upper again. Friday, lower again. And Saturday, Sunday, rest. And then you restart it. This is a good split in order to make the opposite part of the body to rest. And on the long term can be very good. Advanced routines include more days as well, and you can still do even these upper lower or other splits, even a total body, for example. But of course, depends the program. But you can find even 5 day splits or 6 day splits, and for specific muscle groups. Very common one is the push-pull leg, that 5 day will be push-pull leg, push-pull, and leg on the other week in order to have like a kind of different rotation. But for now, if you just want to create a workout plan, you don't need to do something advanced. So focus on the basics. Choosing exercise. Let me breathe. Okay, total body focus for beginners. So compound movements are ideal because basically they involve more muscles, more weights, because a beginner normally is not that strong. So they are good in order to increase the muscle strength as well. Plus, they are very important in order to learn the basic techniques, because basically they are the main movements. For example, the squat, you will do similar exercise to the squats, or in this case I put push-ups, but it can be bench press or even the chest press. They are very similar, and the movement is basically the same, and that's why it's important to start with compound exercises. Why the push-ups? I mean, because a complete beginner is not that strong, and normally starting with the barbell, that normally for the bench is 20 kgs, cannot be always doable. So push-ups, even on the knee, could be an ideal solution, to be honest. But of course, if you can start with the dumbbells, it's probably the best option, but be careful to the shoulders. So if you have someone, a personal trainer that can follow you, is the best option. Of course, is a good investment because you will save your body from injuries, you will save time, and on the long term you will have much better results. So I highly recommend that. If you cannot, just start easy. Don't overstress and don't exaggerate. It's the long term that counts the most. Then, once you advance with the level, you can add the isolation exercises for variety and balance, because the compound exercises are very good, very important, but you need to change and to add some variety on the long term. And that's why you can put different exercises. For example, the bench press can be alternated with the dumbbells, can be alternated with the chest press, can be alternated with inclined, or other variants. Change exercise every XXX weeks to prevent plateau. Okay, so what does it mean this? So basically, your body get used to the exercises. So after a while, the exercises won't work anymore. It's not that they don't work anymore. It's simply that your body tend to get used literally. So you need to change in order to have variety. I know that lots of gyms and basic personal trainers basically change every 4 weeks, but this is not entirely correct because basically a good program, a good plan should require like a longer term. For example, 6 to 12 weeks will be ideal, to be honest, even if you can keep like the same schedule more than 12 weeks. But 6 to 12 weeks is normally the ideal plan. But why they do 4 weeks? I mean, I totally understand. I worked 4 years in a gym, so I totally understand. It's because the person get bored and want to change exercise, want some variety. I understand it. But to be honest, if you want to have the best results, until you have a progression, don't change it. It's useless and even counterproductive. So to be honest, keep as long as possible until you have progression. If you need to start to cheat in order to have a progression, so for example bench press, you need to move your body and you need to do a full rotation inside the bench in order to push those extra kgs, yeah, totally change, because we need to keep sustainable and safe on the long term. But of course, if the technique is good, everything is good, the progression is still there, etc., you don't need to change. So XXX weeks is good. But yeah, feel free to change whenever you want. On the long term, what wins is the sustainability. Yeah. Anyway, you got it. Is the chance to do this on the long term. So I prefer that you change every 4 weeks, but you stay consistent for 6 months, 12 months, instead of changing after 3 months and give up, for example. So this is the most important part. Reps, sets, and recovery. Okay, so rep ranges by goal. Normally for strength training 1 to 5 reps are ideal, but we're talking about more advanced people, because a complete beginner normally can just stay between 6 and 12 reps and grow a lot muscle and even strength. In fact, the most classic plan for a beginner is 3 sets for 10 reps, for example, and this one is very, very, very common because it works. Simply it works. If you go with a beginner in the gym, you put some weights on it and you make him push the weights, basically he will improve. That's it. So it doesn't matter what he does. On the long term, instead, you need to change, and strength 1-5 reps is totally correct. Of course, you don't want to go for 1 reps max, except if you know what you're doing, but reaching the limit every time is not suggested. So I will tend to avoid to do this one, focusing maximum on the 5 reps. So 3 to 5 reps is better. You can start after the 3 sets of 10. You can go towards 8 reps or 6 reps. For example, 4 sets for 6 reps. This will be good, to be honest. This will be good, to be honest, and is more sustainable even for the strength. Endurance fat loss. I wanted to put this one, as I said, because basically this is the most common bullshit about it, because you don't have more fat loss with more reps, because basically the weights will not spend much calories, to be honest. And on the long term, even on endurance, what does it mean endurance in the gym? If you go to run, is a totally different story. If you do 50 reps, is not better, because the stimulus is good until you're close to the failure, basically. So if you do 50 reps and you're very close, totally close to the failure, this can work. If you do 50 reps thinking that it works and you do more, but you have other 20 reps more, this is totally useless, and this is trash volume, literally junk volume. So don't do that. even for fat loss, don't focus on that one. Focus on the nutrition, because for fat loss you want to keep as much muscle as possible. So you want to keep your strength. So to keep like less reps with more weights, but of course don't exaggerate, don't do random things. But you want to keep higher intensity. Why this works? Because basically you keep the stimulus, you keep the muscle active on higher weights, and you reduce the volume, because you cannot do high volume, high intensity. Your body goes to burnout basically, because it's too much to sustain. Because if you're cutting, if you're in a fat loss phase, basically you're stressing out your body a lot, and the volume stress the body a lot, the intensity stress the body a lot. So you need to do just one thing. So don't overstress. Remember, it's a long-term journey. Okay. Weekly volume recommendation. So as we said, the volume is very stressful for the body. 12 to 20 sets is ideal for muscle group. So don't try to do more, because yeah, you can do more. You can do even 25. Some subjects can do even 30 sets a week, but in most cases is very, very too much. So 12 to 20 sets is ideal. And consider, more calories you have, more volume you can sustain. Less calories you have, less volume you can sustain. So don't try to do excessive diets with lots of volume, because your body will stress a lot and you will go to a total burnout and major risk of injury as well. Most important, rest. This one is the most important thing. Seriously. Whew, I need to breathe. So a small rest. Okay, so overcoming plateau with progression. So basically what we want is to have a progression on the long term. So gradually you need to increase the weights, the reps, or the sets, by considering the volume as we said, or reduce rest times. Okay, ideally the best thing to do in the gym is to raise the weights. So if you go from 10 kgs to 12 kgs dumbbells, this is the best thing that you can do. Of course, this is good for a beginner, but intermediate person cannot do this anymore, or not for longer. So then at that point you need to go for the reps. So for example, you reach 12, 14 kgs for the dumbbells, but you can do 3 sets of 10 trying to rise every time, because your body cannot handle it anymore. So what you do? You can do a shift. So instead of increasing the weights, you increase the reps. How? So let's say you have 14 kgs, 10 reps. You try to go towards 12 reps, and this is still a progression. When you reach 12 reps, what do you do? Instead of rising the reps further, what you do is you raise the weight, to 16 kgs, but you decrease the reps to 8 reps. Then try to rise the reps to 10, 12, and then again. So this is a good trick in order to have a progression on the long term. It doesn't work forever. Then you need to find other strategies, but is a good way in order to have a progression, especially if you are a beginner. Sets. There will be a point where you cannot rise nor the weights nor the reps. So what you do, you rise the reps, the sets. But you cannot sustain on the long term, especially if you go too much high with the reps, with the sets, because your body can handle a certain amount of sets for muscular group. So what you do, you rise the volume, you rise the sets, but then you shift with the intensity. So it's like with the weights and the reps. Don't do randomly, but you know that at some point you will need to do this. As I always say, I highly recommend you to be guided by a personal trainer, because if you do things randomly, you just risk to have less results and to injure yourself. So eventually join the community if you want some suggestion. At the moment we don't have any spots for personal training, but we will open in the future. So at least you can keep in touch with us, and if you want to have some suggestion about it, you can just ask, and maybe we can help with some things, especially the basic things that are very simple. Will be easier to guide you on those things. So don't go higher with the sets, don't go above 20-25 sets, because this will be counterproductive and will lead to a big chance to risk injuries or overtraining. Then another option is to reduce the rest times. Reduce rest times doesn't mean to do from 3 minutes 1 week, week 1, to 2 minutes week 2, and 1 minute week 3. This doesn't work. Doesn't work like this. It's a matter of seconds, and this is the same progression. So you slowly decrease the time of rest, then you swap. So whenever you change the weights or whatever, you re-increase the rest times, and then you do the progression with the rest times. It's a bit tricky at the beginning, but focus on the basic for the moment. These are the basic for the periodization. So the basic is to cycle intensity and volume in order to have a continued progression. Tracking workouts is essential in order to have the right improvements. Okay, sample weekly plans. The most classic one for the beginner is a full body workout. So our 3 workouts weekly that includes basically all the parts of the body in order to have a complete stimulus on the body. Eventually some core works. Flexibility, I'm not, let's say I'm not the most indicated person for flexibility, so I will not talk about it. Then, once you get more experience in the gym, you go for the classic 4-day plan. That is upper, lower. This means that you do day 1 upper, day 2 lower, then Wednesday normally you rest, then again upper and lower, in order that the other side of the body can rest. And then once you go more advanced, basically you do even different splits. And for example, the 5-day plans, as we said, can be like push, pull, leg, then push, pull, and the leg will come back to the next week. So it's a different rotation. Warm-ups, cool down, and core work. Okay, let's talk about those. So basically, warm-up is always important to do, even like cardio. For example, I don't do that because I walk to the gym, so in this case, is enough. Dynamic stretches. So what I do in order to do a warm-up before the training session. So I normally take the exercise that I will perform, for example, the bench press. And if I need to do 80 or let's say 100 kgs bench press, what I will do is the first set 20 kgs, so just the barbell, in order to warm up the shoulders and in general the joints. Then I will put some weights on. For example, I will go for 60 kgs in order to have like a lightweight, but in order to still warm up. If I need to go to 100 kgs, I will do another set of 85 kgs, but at that point will be lighter in order to not get tired, but still to get closer to the weight, and then I will go. The second exercise, if it's still chest, of course, doesn't need to be to do another warm-up. It's enough to do that one. But in case, for example, you need to change the muscular group, for example, you do back, I will recommend to do some warm-up, some ramping at the same time. In case of legs, for example, that can be a bit different, because, for example, legs are legs. But basically what you do can be different, because if you do a leg extension, you warming up the quads, but not the hamstrings. So what you need to do is you need to warm up for the quads and for the hamstrings. For example, what I do is, if I need to do squats and deadlift, I do a warm-up for the squats and a warm-up for the deadlift, because they are different targets, and in this case you reduce the risk of injury. So in this case you need to do a bit more. So the basic one is anyway to warm up the targeted muscle at least once, and then that's okay. Cool downs, stretching is better to do after. As I said, I'm not the most indicated person for this one, but can be very useful. Core exercises you can do, you should do as well, but you can understand, I'm a lazy person, so I'm not focusing on that much. Maybe this year I will focus a bit more. Okay, let's go to nutrition and lifestyle for success. So, training is only 20%. This is a bit clickbait because this is not totally true. But considering the average person that is approaching the gym, that's totally true, because at the beginning, whatever you do, it works. It doesn't matter. You put a weight on it, it works, it improves. So training is not that important at the beginning, but later on becomes much, much more important. Why 80% is on nutrition and recovery? Because basically most people approaching the gym, they need a better nutritional plan, for example, especially for weight loss, because people focus on the training, forgetting about the calories, and this is the biggest mistake probably. And that's why it does the major part of the success, basically. And recovery as well, because remember, you're stressing out your body. If you're doing a fat loss journey, even more, and the recovery part is very, very important. If you want to put instead muscle on, what you need to have is a calories surplus. And that's why even the proper nutrition is much more important. But what does it mean, calorie surplus? Basically, you don't want to do excessive amount of calories, because this will lead just to gaining fat, and that's useless. What you want, like surplus, is calculating your TDE. You need to have just 100, 200, 300 calories extra to your normal caloric diet, and not much more. If you are an extreme skinny guy that is resistant on gaining weight and everything, yeah, you can go a bit higher, even 500 calories, for example. But trust me, you don't need to do 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 calories diets, because they are totally useless. They will lead just to gaining fat, mainly. Deficit for fat loss. Fat loss is a bit different, because 100 to 300 calories is not really enough. Is more recommended to do kind of 500 calories of caloric deficit, because this is more sustainable. You can do more? Yes, definitely. This is what we do, for example, these days. But I will not recommend it. Why? Because basically we need to focus on our goals. I know what I'm doing. I know what is my TDE, my calorie expenditure, and everything. I know my body. I know what I can handle. On the long term, if you do higher deficit, basically your body will kind of rebel against you, literally, because you're messing up your hormonal situation, and your body will crave more food, will try to recover as quick as possible the fat, especially if you do a fat loss for 6 months, total extreme. At that point, your body is in a dangerous situation, let's say. We'll see like the situation like dangerous, and want to recover as much as possible. So that's why the yo-yo diets, and those are not good. Or even the binge eating. For example, I'm a person that normally falls into the binge eating traps. But this was in the past, especially. Nowadays, I'm still falling about it. But why? Because now it's not about the binge eating, because I'm conscious about it, but is when I mix business and anxiety and other stuff that I get overwhelmed, so I go towards comfort food, and that's why I do binge eating. But if you have no consciousness about calories, about deficit, about extreme dieting, etc., I will not recommend to do major deficit. So what I would suggest is to do 500 calories, and for women even a bit less, to be honest, 300, 400 calories maximum. This, of course, including the cardio, the steps. And remember, is more important the long-term focus, because basically it's better to have like this calories deficit on the long term instead of an important deficit for a short term, because the short term can lead to a yo-yo diet, plus you mess up a lot your body, a lot. What you want is to be sustainable on the long term, even to not feel too weak, let's say, because this will lead to more risk of injuries, low mood, and lots of consequences. So it's better to go lighter on the long term. What I always tell to my clients is think about how much time did you spend in order to build your body, or in case of fat loss journey, remember how much time did you spend to collect this amount of weight. So you cannot expect, if you want to lose 30-50 kgs, you cannot expect to do this in 3-6 months. It's not realistic, to be honest. It's very stressful for the body. I know that it's annoying to do a very long-term journey, but considering the time that you spent in order to collect this amount, you cannot expect to do this so quick. So you need to be proportional to the amount of time that you spend to collect this weight, unfortunately. Yes, of course, it's easier to put more weights instead of losing it, but remember that what you want is something that is sustainable on the long term. You don't need to stress yourself, even because then will not be healthy even for the mind, because you don't want to do a rush. You want to do something that is then enjoyable, because if it's not sustainable mentally, this will lead to extra stress. And trust me, the fat loss journey is very, very stressful, and you will go towards a burnout, basically. So I will not recommend it. So then remember, if you do 500 calories deficit a day, for example, they are basically half kgs weekly. That means 2-3 kgs monthly. That means anyway 20-30 kgs yearly. Yes, of course, you cannot do 10 years of just losing weight, because you will need some breaks, of course. But it's not just a little amount, because in 1 year you will lose a lot, you will improve a lot. So start light, because the long term, the consistency is the real key to success. Okay, build sustainable routines. Let's say we talked about this. No perfection. Doesn't matter if sometimes you cheat on the diet, you skip a workout. That's fine. That's totally normal. You should see me every day, what I do. I'm such a messy person. But the consistency on the long term is the very key. Okay. Let's go to the point. My fitness plan. So I will show you more precisely in another video. Probably I will do tomorrow, even because I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm talking for over 1 hour now, considering the Italian one. But what I will do, so as we said, there are so many good programs, but the best one is the one that fits to your needs. So my one will be very particular, to be honest. I'm focused on my goals. My goals are not about fitness, but about business. So what I will do is an extreme diet in a different way, because remember, I don't need to lose much weight, to be honest. I need just to recover some of the weight that I put on this Christmas, and I want to do something quick, because basically being in a weight loss, as I said before, affects everything, the energy and the mood. And this is something that right now I don't want to focus on. I want to have a good mood. I want to be focused, so mindly active, like with my mental states, because even low calories diet leads to more tiredness, less focus, less clarity, and that's important. And that's why I want to do something quick, let's say, in order to do a reverse diet and then rising the calories. Of course, I do this because I have some fitness goals as well. Otherwise, I will just keep my normal caloric, doing my stuff. But this is what I need to do. Not what I need to do, what I want to do for myself. But remember, I'm a personal trainer, a nutritionist. I know what I'm doing. Don't do this, especially if you need to lose lots of weights. Don't do this. Doesn't work on the long term and is counterproductive. So don't do this at home. That said, tailor it to my needs. So even my fitness plan will be a bit particular because I have 2 injuries. One is the wrist when I do heavy bench press, but I don't have the strength to do that, so that's not a problem. But the knee actually, yes. I got injured 3 months ago on my left knee, and it's something that really gives me some impeding about the exercise because I cannot do squat at all. And to be honest, I'm even a bit worried about leg press and leg extension. So what I want to do, of course, going to a physiotherapist. I will go as soon as possible. But basically, I will do some exercises that are very light. For example, the wall squats, in order to not have any weight on it. But just more time under tension that stress the muscle, so trying to keep it active and to lose as little muscle as possible. So will be tailored to my needs. Plus the exercises will be very light, very easy. I don't want to stress because even I will be in extreme diet. I want to do short session with much cardio. So this is something that you don't need to do. Actually, don't do, because like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do that. This is what I will not recommend to anyone, but I know what I'm doing. So short session, I will do classic split. My classic split is 4 days a week that I will split in 6 days. So I will do, instead of 3 muscular group a day, I will do 2 a day. Normally what I do is antagonist groups. So my classic routine is chest, biceps and legs, with the day after shoulders, back and triceps. But I will split them in 2 muscular group a day. So I will do chest and biceps, for example, Monday. Tuesday we'll do shoulders and legs, and then I will do back and triceps, repeated twice a week. So that's why I want to have a short session, because in extreme diet my body is more tired, doesn't have the energy to sustain all of that. Plus the extra cardio is made by my extra steps, because you don't know, but I work a lot. Even when I wake up, I just start to walk around the table, reflecting about my life, and this is something that I kept from my childhood, basically. So for me, it's easy to do all the steps. Whatever. Another break to breathe, to pee, to everything. But it's okay. So I was telling that every fitness plan, every fitness plan needs to be tailored to our needs. So I will do this on extreme diet in order to do this quickly. Not recommended for anyone, so especially if you don't know what you're doing. My one will be for a few weeks and that's it. And then I need to focus on my needs, so different split. A short session, even because when you are in extreme diet, your liver glycogen basically is absent, and this will make your sessions even harder, because basically when you have a good level of liver glycogen, your perceived effort is reduced. But when your liver glycogen is basically absent, even the same exercise looks way harder. Especially if you're a runner, you will notice that. So that's why on the long term it's not sustainable. But forget about it. We'll talk in the future. So the main point is to long-term focus, building sustainable routine, and focusing on your goals, your needs. So remember, your journey is your journey and needs to be tailored just to you. Everyone has different needs, different goals, and different bodies. So this is something that works for someone else doesn't mean that it can work for you. This is for the training program because maybe your body physiognomy is a bit different. For the diet especially, because my amount of calories, my needs are different from yours. Someone can gain weight with 2000 calories, someone can lose weight with 3000 calories. So remember, don't do random things because they are counterproductive on the long term. So focus on what you need. And what else? Of course, follow my journey if you want to see how I will do my stuff. I will show you my training plan I will do tomorrow probably with the diet. Tomorrow we have a special guest as well for the diet, our nutritionist. And I will show you my future plans, my future diet, what I will do this Veganuary, this my journey and everything. So if you want to keep up with my journey, just follow the channel. And if you want to subscribe to the community, because soon I will put some free tools for you over there, and I hope to help as many people as possible. Join even the community. I'm not very active over there yet, but soon I will. So join this journey, and if I can help you, or if I just can motivate you to do better, to have a better lifestyle, I would be very happy with that. That said, I go to rest. I need to rest. So I see you for tomorrow's videos. See you guys.